There is a category of crop that most landowners have never seriously considered, and the per-acre revenue it generates makes every commodity comparison look like a rounding error. Medicinal herbs. 5 species grow in ordinary soil, require lower inputs than most row crops, and sell into a global market valued at over $80 billion, a market that has grown every single year for over 2 decades. One of these herbs takes 7 years to harvest and pays more per acre than almost any legal crop on earth. Another goes from seed to sellable product in 8 weeks. All 5 produce revenue that exceeds corn, soybeans, and wheat by margins that are difficult to overstate once the numbers are side by side. These are not niche curiosities. They are established crops with defined buyers, proven pricing, and demand that consistently outpaces domestic supply. This video covers all 5, from soil to sale. Every per acre number will be on screen. 1 acre of lavender in full production generates $10,000 to $30,000 per year, depending on product mix and sales channels. Compare that to the $900 the same acre would earn in corn. The math is not subtle. The profit is clear. Lavandula angustifolia, commonly known as English lavender, is the preferred variety for both medicinal and culinary use. Hardy across USDA zones 5 through 9, drought-tolerant, and genuinely productive in poor, rocky soil where most crops would fail outright. The revenue comes from multiple products harvested from the same planting. 1 acre produces 100 to 200 pounds of oil-grade lavender, yielding 10 to 20 pounds of essential oil, worth $100 to $300 per pound for high-quality small-batch distillation. Dried lavender bundles sell for $5 to $15 each at farmers markets and online shops. 1 acre produces thousands of harvestable bundles per season. Value-added products multiply the revenue further. Soaps, balms, sachets, pillow sprays, and culinary lavender all command premium pricing with simple processing. Lavender is a perennial. Planted once, it produces for 10 to 15 years or longer before replanting is needed. The first meaningful harvest arrives in year 2. Peak production runs from year 3 through year 10. Input costs are low. No heavy fertilization. No irrigation in most climates. No expensive pest management. The crop thrives on neglect in conditions that would stress most vegetable or grain plantings. That combination of low input, high output, and multi-product revenue is why lavender consistently ranks among the most profitable small acreage crops available to a grower willing to think beyond commodity agriculture. The elderberry supplement market has grown by double digits every year for the past decade, and demand shows no sign of leveling off. Elderberry syrup, tincture, and extract rank consistently among the top-selling herbal supplements in the United States. 1 acre supports approximately 300 to 400 elderberry plants at standard spacing. A mature plant produces 12 to 20 pounds of berries per year. Per acre yield at full production reaches 3,600 to 8,000 pounds of fresh berries annually. Fresh elderberries sell for $5 to $15 per pound, depending on market and region. Dried elderberries command $15 to $30 per pound. Per acre. Revenue from raw berries alone ranges from $18,000 to $80,000 at retail pricing. Processing into syrup pushes the margin significantly higher. Elderberry syrup sells for $15 to $25 per 8-ounce bottle, and the conversion ratio from raw berry to finished product favors the producer heavily. Elderflower, harvested from the same plant earlier in the season, is a separate revenue stream entirely. Cordial, tea, and extract made from the flowers sell independently of the berry products. Plants begin producing in year 2. Full production arrives by year 3 or 4. Hardy across United States Department of Agriculture zones 3 through 9, elderberry is pest-resistant, low-maintenance, and tolerant of a wider range of soil conditions than most fruit-bearing perennials. The combination of explosive market demand, multiple harvestable products from the same planting, and fast establishment makes elderberry one of the most compelling medicinal herb investments a small acreage grower can make. Dried American ginseng root sells for $300 to $800 per pound. Wild simulated ginseng, grown under natural forest canopy in conditions that mimic wild growth, commands the highest end of that range and occasionally exceeds it. No annual crop grown in North American soil comes close to matching this revenue per pound or per acre at maturity. American ginseng, Panax quinquefolius, requires patience that most growers are not willing to commit. Roots must grow for a minimum of 5 to 7 years before harvest. Wild simulated roots left in the ground for 7 to 10 years develop the shape, density, and ring count that Asian export markets prize most highly. The timeline is long. The payoff is extraordinary. 1 acre of woodland supports approximately 5,000 to 8,000 ginseng plants under wild simulated conditions. Mature acre yield lands between 150 and 300 pounds of dried root. At $400 to $800 per pound, per acre revenue reaches $60,000 to $240,000. Seed is a sellable product on its own. Stratified ginseng seed sells for $50 to $150 per pound, generating income from the planting while roots develop underground. The crop requires shade, either natural forest canopy or constructed shade structures, and well-drained loamy soil with consistent moisture. Ginseng will not tolerate direct sun or waterlogged ground. Export demand to Asian markets, particularly China, South Korea, and Hong Kong, is strong and consistent and shows no sign of weakening. This is the most valuable legal crop most American landowners have never heard of. Chamomile goes from seed to first harvest in 8 to 10 weeks. After the patience ginseng demands, that speed is worth pausing on. German chamomile, Matricaria chamomilla, is the commercial standard. It is an annual species that grows fast, flowers heavily, and produces multiple harvestable flushes through succession planting across a single growing season. 1 acre produces 1,000 to 2,000 pounds of dried chamomile flowers per year under managed conditions. Dried organic chamomile sells for $8 to $25 per pound, depending on grade and buyer channel. Premium whole flower organic product commands the top of that range. Per acre revenue lands between $8,000 and $50,000 depending on quality, organic certification, and whether the grower sells raw or processed. Tea companies are the largest consistent buyer. Cosmetic formulators purchase chamomile for skincare formulations. Supplement manufacturers use it in capsules, extracts, and tincture blends. Demand across all 3 channels is stable and recurring. Chamomile essential oil extracted via steam distillation is a high-value secondary product. Small-batch single-origin chamomile oil commands $50 to $200 per ounce depending on purity and source. The crop tolerates poor soil, requires minimal fertilization, and grows reliably across most temperate climate zones. Multiple harvests per season through staggered planting dates mean revenue repeats across the growing year rather than arriving in a single window. For a grower who needs cash flow while longer-term species like ginseng and lavender establish, chamomile is the crop that fills the gap from day one. Echinacea is the most recognized medicinal herb in the American consumer market. Almost everyone has purchased it in some form. Almost no one has considered growing it commercially. That gap between consumer awareness and domestic production is exactly where the revenue opportunity lives. Echinacea purpurea is the primary commercial species. A perennial, hardy, across USDA, zones 3 through 9, drought-tolerant and productive within the first year after transplant. What makes Echinacea unusual on this list is that 4 distinct parts of the plant are sellable. Root, flower, leaf, and seed each have established buyer channels. Dried Echinacea. Root sells for $12 to $30 per pound. Dried flower and leaf bring $8 to $15 per pound. 1 acre produces 1,500 to 3,000 pounds of dried root after 2 to 3 years of growth. Per acre revenue from root harvest alone reaches $18,000 to $90,000. Flowers harvested in year 1 generate immediate income while roots develop below the surface. That dual timeline revenue structure means the crop pays the grower during the establishment period, rather than demanding years of patience before the first dollar arrives. Supplement companies, tea blenders, and herbalists are consistent buyers with recurring demand. Tincture production adds another layer. Echinacea tincture sells for $10 to $20 per 1-ounce bottle, using simple alcohol extraction that requires no industrial equipment. The plant attracts pollinators heavily, doubling as a bee forage crop that benefits everything else growing nearby. Planted once, it is productive for 5 to 10 years or longer from a single establishment. The global herbal supplement market is valued at over $80 billion and has grown at 8 to 10% annually for more than 2 decades. That growth rate is not a temporary spike driven by a single trend. It reflects a structural shift in consumer spending toward botanical medicine, natural remedies, and plant-based health products. And that shift has accelerated consistently through every economic cycle in recent memory. The supply side of this market is where the opportunity becomes clear for small growers. Most medicinal herbs consumed in the United States are either wild harvested from declining natural populations or imported from overseas sources with inconsistent quality control and limited traceability. Domestic cultivated traceable supply is scarce, and buyers who need it pay a premium. Small batch, single origin, organically grown medicinal herbs command higher prices than industrial supply. That pricing dynamic is the structural opposite of commodity agriculture, where the largest producer with the lowest cost usually wins. In medicinal herbs, quality, provenance, and small scale are pricing advantages rather than limitations. Direct-to-consumer channels pay retail pricing with no middleman. Online stores, farmers markets, and herbalist networks connect growers directly with end buyers. Value-added processing through tinctures, teas, salves, and essential oils multiplies revenue per pound with minimal equipment investment. Supplement companies and tea blenders purchase in bulk at wholesale pricing that still exceeds commodity crop revenue per acre by large multiples. Medicinal herb pricing is not dictated by global futures markets or government subsidies. It is set by supply scarcity, quality differentiation, and buyer relationships that reward consistency and trust. The market favors exactly the kind of grower who is watching this video. Every herb on this list shares a few growing requirements and a few risks worth understanding before the first seed goes into the ground. Soil drainage is the single most important variable across all 5 species. Waterlogged conditions kill lavender, rot ginseng roots, and stunt the establishment of chamomile and echinacea. Well-drained soil or raised bed systems solve this in any region. Climate range is broad. All 5 herbs grow successfully in USDA zones 5 through 9 at minimum. Lavender, chamomile, and echinacea tolerate wider ranges. Ginseng demands shade and forest conditions that the other 4 do not require. Post-harvest processing is where value is either captured or destroyed. Proper drying is critical. Mold from inadequate airflow, potency loss from over-drying, and degradation from improper storage all reduce herb value significantly. A dedicated drying setup using racks or a commercial dehydrator costs $200 to $500 and pays for itself within the first harvest cycle. Organic certification increases revenue per pound by 30 to 100% across every herb on this list. Pursuing certification from year 1 is worth the administrative effort and modest cost. The risks are real. Ginseng theft is a documented and persistent problem. Concealment planting and property security matter. Local market oversaturation is possible with lower value herbs if a grower relies on a single sales channel without diversifying. Harvesting too early reduces potency, appearance, and price. Selling only raw, unprocessed product leaves the highest margin revenue streams untouched. Every one of these risks has a known, affordable solution. None of them are reasons not to start. They are reasons to start informed. Start with chamomile and echinacea. Both produce revenue in their first season, and they teach the fundamentals of medicinal herb cultivation, drying, processing, and buyer relationships without requiring years of patience before the first dollar comes back. Chamomile delivers its first harvestable flush within 8 to 10 weeks of planting. Echinacea flowers can be sold in year 1, while roots develop below for a larger harvest in years 2 and 3. Revenue from these 2 species funds expansion into longer-term investments. In Season 2, add lavender. Lavender is a perennial commitment that begins generating meaningful revenue in year 2, and it peaks across years 3 through 15. Plant elderberry in the same window. Production begins in year 2, reaching full volume by year 4. Both species compound alongside the annual chamomile income already flowing. If shade land is available, start ginseng under the forest canopy in year 1 or year 2. This is the long play. 5 to 10 years in the ground, with the highest per acre payoff on the list waiting at the end. Revenue from early herbs sustains the operation while the ginseng matures. An acre of corn earns $900. An acre of the right medicinal herb earns 10 to 100 times that figure. The acre is the same size. The soil is the same soil. The only variable that changes is what gets planted in it. Subscribe to this channel for more high-value, small acreage strategies. Drop a comment and tell us which of these 5 herbs you would plant first, and what growing zone you are in.